What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your hosts today. And today, like every day, we're coming at you live from our studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we talk about breaking news. And today, we are talking about Genesis Trading has officially halted withdrawals. What does that mean for Gemini? Their website did go down. They did announce their earn program is currently not working. No withdrawals, no deposits. Does that mean the exchange is in trouble? We're going to talk about that. And much, much more. But before we can, I have to introduce you to your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! Is your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Now, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Bitcoin 16.5. The prices are stable, but not the ecosystem. We have cascading liquidations. We have the contagion is spreading, and big exchanges are being called into question. Gemini right now front and center. Are they going to remain solvent? Are they going to file for bankruptcy and freeze people out of their accounts in the same way that we've seen the other exchanges? That's a possibility, and we'll discuss the likelihood of it and what is maybe fear-based media, what might not be true, and what the facts are. And then on top of that, we're going to give you our opinion. And my opinion ain't too high on Gemini right now. At least, why take the risk if you're just keeping crypto on there? Now, if you had tokens locked up in staking, that sucks. You know what? I think the writing was on the wall at this point. And if you have anything locked up in staking anywhere, it might be a good idea at this point to unstake. I mean, we've been saying it. It's not like this is Genesis. Not like the first time we said it, but at this point, just like
Genesis is not a small company.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If Genesis is going under,
they have their loan books is $2.8 billion. Let that sink in, okay? $2.8 billion is how much is the value of their loans they have out. So let that sink in. They're basically the funding for lending and borrowing when it comes to the Gemini exchange. Gemini exchange, one of the top 5 largest exchanges in the world. So take that for what it is. And FTX blew up last week. And we got a long ass bear market ahead of us, at least a year. If you were to fall into the halving cycle kind of mentality and where we're going to go, think of it this way. We're not coming out of this thing until late 2023, right? So you got at least a year, probably a year and a half if you're just looking at cycle trends for the Bitcoin halving and where you've seen the end of the bear market and the beginning of the bull market. Still some time left. And can these companies stay afloat? Because it was just a week ago FTX went down, and now you have another player. So I would imagine within the next couple months, the next 6 months, the next 10 months, next 15 months, we're going to get more
next
companies,
25 months,
more companies going insolvent. Yeah, I think if you make it 15 months, I think you're probably safe. I would call a good threshold. You know what? You make it another 15 months in the bear market and you haven't went under and you haven't halted trading, you haven't filed for bankruptcy, you probably made it, right, at that point. So it's like swimming across a raging river and you're like pulling up to the rocks and you can physically walk. You're not underwater anymore. Pun intended. So,
Jimmy said BlockFi's next. BlockFi is already there. They're not next. They are there. They stopped withdrawals, and they are filing for bankruptcy. So, but let's get into.
And also, broke Yoshi first in the chat. Hola!
Raul San Miguel said, "Freaking Gemini, I have my coins locked in the urn."
Damn,
Raul.
I know. I
love you, my friend.
I know it's not easy to unlock. A lot of times you lock them up for an extended period of time. So, yeah, that sucks, boo.
Yeah, I got mine on Crow, and my Crow are locked. I can lock. They're locked for 3 months.
Crypto.com.
Yeah,
Crypto.com.
Yeah. So We understand, and maybe 3 months ago, 90 days ago, 6 months ago, depending on your vesting schedule, your lockup.
I want to echo what Robin said on our afternoon video 2 days ago. He said, if an exchange tells you that they're backed 1-to-1 and they don't rehypothecate anything, right? Then what incentive is it for them to have you lock up your crypto and then give you 5% off top of the revenue, right? If they're backed 1-to-1 and they're saying the way they make their money is by a taker fee, by trading fees, then if you lock up your crypto, you're not trading that crypto and they're not getting any trading fees. So again, it's common sense. If they don't rehypothecate, they don't lend out your funds to make interest to pay you, and their main business model is trading fees, why in the world would they want you to lock up your crypto and pay you 5% off top of the revenue? Think about that. So, all right, let's jump right into the biggest news of the day. Obviously, Genesis. If you're not familiar, Genesis is a trading. So they're essentially Gemini used them for their earn services. Robin mentioned $2.8 billion in loans outstanding. And I want to start here. This was an article released by CoinDesk, which, by the way, the same company that owns Genesis also owns CoinDesk, also owns Grayscale Trust. Now, we're not saying Grayscale Trust is going under. We're not saying, well, it doesn't matter if Coinbase goes under or CoinDesk goes under, as they are a publishing news company. But this was from October 3rd. Grayscale takes over a key role for Bitcoin Trust, other products from Genesis. Grayscale Investments is bringing a key administrative role for all its products in-house through a newly created broker-dealer unit. That means it will now be responsible for creating new shares of the trust and selling them to investors. Previously, Grayscale outsourced that role to Genesis Global Trading, which we now know has halted withdrawals. Today, Genesis, and this is from October 3rd. Today, Genesis remains our sole liquidity provider, and we had nothing but a positive relationship with them going back to 2013, so I can't see a need to expand. Well, now they're going to have to expand because Genesis, news broke, they tweeted this. I'm going to keep backtracking. It's from November 8th. This is from Genesis Trading Twitter. With regard to today's market events, referencing FTX, we have managed our lending book and have no material net credit exposure. In addition, Genesis has no exposure to any tokens issued by centralized exchanges. We continue to meet the needs of our clients around the world across all products. Our experienced trading and risk management teams are constantly assessing credit, volatility, and liquidity in the market to optimize our positioning and operations. Genesis is committed to being a leading digital assets market maker and continuing to drive the industry forward. This is November 8th. And then today, this news broke. Genesis and Gemini hit in crypto chaos. Genesis Global Capital has temporarily suspended redemptions and new loan originations following the spectacular collapse, I don't know if that's the right word to use, of the FTX crypto exchange. The firm cited, quote, extreme market dislocation and a loss of industry confidence caused by the collapse of leading crypto exchange FTX. The firm maintains that other parts of the company are still in good standing. Does that sound familiar, guys? Does that sound familiar? As a result of Genesis pausing its lending business, crypto exchange Gemini has halted its Earn program. Gemini customers with assets deposited into the Earn program will no longer be able to receive their funds back within 5 business days, as stipulated in the service level agreement. This is a quote from Gemini. Gemini is a full reserve exchange and custodian. All customer funds held on Gemini Exchange are held 1-to-1 and available for withdrawal at any time. Again, guys, anything anyone says, you take it with not just 1 grain of salt, but 2 grains of salt. And this is a tweet from Genesis this morning. We recognize how challenging this past week has been due to the impact of the FTX news. At Genesis, we are entirely focused on doing everything we can to serve our clients. Genesis spot and derivative trading and custody business remain fully operational. We would like to emphasize that Genesis Global Trading, our broker-dealer that holds our BIT license, is independent and fully operational. Talked about the default of 3AC, how that hurt them. They also had, I believe, exposure to Celsius and or Luna. They go on to say, however, FTX has created unprecedented market turmoil, resulting in abnormal withdrawal requests, which have exceeded our current liquidity. So there you go. I'm going to stop there. We keep hearing everything's fine. We don't have exposure. We're operating as normal. We're back to 1-to-1. And time after time, we see these companies go under. They are lying to us. They're lying straight to our faces. They for some reason, they think we're dumb, right? They think they can quell fears. They think they can stop people from withdrawing from their platforms. You can't. You cannot. So instead of wasting time going out there saying, we're fine, you're not fine. Stop lying to people, man. That's how I feel. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, it's the same song and dance. This thing, it's on repeat at this point, right? It's not like this is something new, and as sad as it is we're actually getting accustomed to bankruptcy and liquidations and defaults and companies going under. And I think it's like the fact that people have their hard-earned money just taken from them, and you get a notice that says withdrawals unavailable, and that is kind of commonplace now, and it's almost like not that big of a news story. 6 months ago, if somebody had been like, yo, you can't withdraw your money, you would have been like, what? Now it's like it's norm. You're like, who's next? And a couple things on Gemini. You started off, I do want to quell any fears. You started off by referencing Grayscale. Grayscale uses Genesis as their liquidity provider only, not in storage, not in any
Custody.
loan or debt transfers. Grayscale basically has a trust where, hey, I buy, instead of it being done in kind of a ETF style where it's all stored on, where the value is stored on a publicly traded, share, basically you trust that Grayscale per a third party audit buys Bitcoin and stores it themselves. And the storage goes through Coinbase Trust Ventures. And so Coinbase has that all on a cold storage, and that has nothing to do with their exchange as well. And so, I just want to remove any speculation that Grayscale is in some kind of trouble. Now,
Speculation aside, though.
Now,
Speculation aside. Get your money off exchanges.
Yeah.
Get your money off exchanges. Get a ledger.
And I would even, here's the thing, there is exposure to Grayscale. So, I mean, you have Bitcoin that you pay a custodial fee for, basically through, for the Grayscale trust. Yeah, it's at a significant downside premium. So basically, you lose money if you try to cash out on it right now. And so, but maybe it's worth it. Maybe you want to weigh your risk. Do you want to keep your Bitcoin value locked up through Grayscale, or is it better to custody yourself? Obviously, at this point, it might not be advantageous for you to take a loss and sell, but maybe something to think about.
People keep asking, what happens if Silvergate goes under? Will
Silvergate goes under, bro. It's I don't even know what that looks like.
Well,
okay, here's a sale. On-ramp, off-ramp. Okay, if you guys don't know what Silvergate is a bank, publicly traded. It's a U.S. bank. It has
what's
stocks.
their ticker name, by the way? 'Cause I want to pull that chart
I don't know. It's just type in Silvergate. I'm not sure what their ticker is. But anyways, they're the bank that when you do your bank transfer or you go to deposit money, it goes through Silvergate.
They're the on and off ramp.
Yeah, they're the on and off ramp. They're the ones that control the fiat. So, if you use Bank of America or Wells Fargo, you go to deposit, it basically goes to Silvergate, and then Silvergate credits the exchange on the back end, or vice versa. So essentially they have to hold the liquidity of cash, and their stock is down 90% right now.
Oh my God.
On top of that,
dude, look at this.
On top of that, their partnerships are this. This is their partnerships. Listen to this shit. Partnerships is FTX. Okay, they went under. You got Gemini, who is probably will go under. I don't want to say probably. You know what? Let me rewind that.
There's a
It
possibility.
ain't looking good.
There's a possibility.
There's a possibility. And you know what? I said the same thing about FTX last week. I was like, hey, man, hopefully FTX stays up. I mean, I would, before everything became transparent, I was like, hey, I would imagine that, they might, I'd imagine they'll be okay, but there's a strong chance that they don't. I kind of feel the same way about Gemini. Sure, they'll be fine. I'm sure more than likely the Gemini will be here next bull cycle. But
This is Silvergate, by the way.
oh, it's a nice chart.
Went all the way from $107 in August of this year, guys. So in a matter of...
And in November of last year, it was at 215.
What is that? Down 76% over the last 107 days.
Look at November 15th, I think it is.
What was that?
Is that 200?
This thing has been just tanking. $236.
Real quick, I do want to address the chat here real quick, or address our viewers. So, first of all, hit the like button. We don't even have a 30% like ratio here. So, help us out, man. We're trying to get this channel out to everybody. We're trying to get attention. Just do me a solid, man. We put the show together. All we ask is you go down there and hit that thumbs up button.
And also we end the pool, the previous one, and we just started a new one. And the previous one was the question:
Is Gemini going to go under?
Survive? Excuse me. And 92 votes, 55% say no.
That they're not going to survive?
No.
So
The sentiment is down.
And then
let me
and then just to give a couple shout outs, I'll keep it short and sweet. So if you're new here, say hello so I can say hello. We got Guillermo Martinez, we got OX Spence, Young Chi, Joe Carpenter, Joe's Toes,
Geronimo.
and then Jesse M. Hola!
Let me explain something to you guys. I've seen a lot of people ask this. Well, if Silvergate goes under, what happened to MicroStrategy's loans? They don't just keep the Bitcoin for free, right? As you go bankrupt, they liquidate your assets and liabilities, and so that gets sold off to another company, so you will still have to pay those loans back. So don't think MicroStrategy is hoping for them to go under so they can keep their Bitcoin for free. But yeah, Silvergate, their stock is down 90% over the last year. And I mean, you don't have to listen to me tell you that's not good. So let's stay on this. So let's talk about the ripple effects of what Genesis, what's happening with what Genesis did. So this is from Dylan LeClaire. Said Circle has reduced its rate on short-term lending from 0.25% yesterday to 0 today, following the halting of withdrawals from Genesis. You can see this here. This is from circle.com. This is verified, 0.25, 0.25. And if you swap over to now, 0 and 0. So, I mean, not speculating here, but what are your thoughts on this? Circle, obviously, huge company.
Well, Circle's basically removing any risk that they have to generate. Basically like, hey, why even at this point? I think the best thing is not even offer any earn, right? I mean, at this point, you're just like, yo, the business model has failed right now on generating yield on crypto. I think the only thing that you're really concerned about, or you should be concerned about, is generating security and that you actually still own your crypto when this is all said and done. And if you don't have it on cold storage, it is vulnerable. It doesn't matter where it is. If it's not on cold storage, it is vulnerable. Even in hot storage or hot porridge, like MetaMask.
You say hot porridge? That's weird.
No, but even in Trust Wallet, MetaMask, those are better. Still some outside risk associated with it.
Definitely less than
it's still always connected to the internet theoretically. So at any point in time, somebody can just think about it this way. At any point in time, if you weren't home, could just log onto your computer. I understand you have passwords, but they could take out your funds. Like what was saying. Or somebody gets a hold of your computer. You know how what is it? You give somebody screen share capabilities. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, where you like screen share, you like talk to somebody and their representative, and you give them control. Yeah, they can drain your account there as well.
Be careful, guys. Be careful. All right. Let's talk about Gemini. They did tweet. They did respond to what's going on. So this is from this morning. This morning at 5:30 a.m. We are aware that Genesis Global, the lending partner of the EARN program, has paused withdrawals and will not be able to meet customer redemptions within the service level agreement of 5 days. We are working with Genesis team to help customers redeem their funds from the EARN program as quickly as possible. The past week has been incredibly challenging and stressful time for our industry. We are disappointed that the EARN program will not be met, but we are encouraged by Genesis and DCG's commitment to doing everything in their power to fulfill their obligations to customers under the EARN program. We'll continue to work with them on behalf of the EARN customers. This does not impact any other Gemini products and services. Gemini is a full reserve exchange and custodian. All customer funds held on the Gemini exchange are held 1-to-1 and available for withdrawal at any time. Okay.
1-to-1.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. And this was from The Block. This was printed earlier today. Again, they are saying that client funds are secure, and their network or their exchange did go offline. So you weren't able to access their exchange. People started freaking out. The outages affected a number of services, including their trading engine and deposits and withdrawals, not just from their EARN program, but we do have confirmation that the exchange is up, and apparently withdrawals are working fine. Gemini is investigating reports of potential service disruptions. All customer accounts and funds remain completely secure. Gemini did announce that its EARN unit will be unable to meet the redemptions as from the fallout of Genesis Capital. And this is another tweet and update from Gemini. About 2 hours ago, we experienced an Amazon Web Service EBS outage with one of our primary databases. We have restored the database and are bringing the exchange back up. And here we go. This was an update about 20 minutes after that. Gemini Exchange fully back online. All customer funds held on the exchange are held 1-to-1. Are you concerned that they keep saying that?
It was back 1-to-1.
Like every tweet,
no, wait, here's
back
the, 1-to-1. That premise. If it's true, you're fine. If it's not, you're done, right? And you're done unless there is not a bank run, okay? Because at the end of the day, back 1-to-1 means user funds that are deposited on there are there, and they're liquid, and you can remove them. That's literally what 1-to-1 means. If it's not 1-to-1, that means, hey, my crypto, I store it there, but it's not there. So when I go to withdraw it, is it there or is it not? And so if it's there, you're fine. If it's not, it's not. And so you get in a situation where if there's a bank run, if it's not 1-to-1, you go under. But what has happened, what's happened up until this point is that if it's not back 1-to-1, they're still fine because not everybody's trying to withdraw. And so if you don't have 30% of user funds and 70% of the people don't come in and try to take their money out, you're fine. But the second you have 71% of the people come in, try to withdraw,
you ain't fine.
You ain't fine. And that's where we're at. And right now, it's, we're not the only ones saying, cuss your credit. It's like, that's like the heartbeat of the crypto nation right now is that, hey, everybody, get your stuff off exchanges. So at this point, the tide is coming out. We're trying to see like who's left standing, because if you ain't backed, if you took customer funds and you did something with them and people are trying to remove it, this is the breaking point. And so that's why they keep saying it over and over again. And guys, what do you got? What is the chat thing? Is this thing gonna implode? Did we already hit the bottom? Is Gemini in trouble? Do you think that the firestorm is gonna continue? Put a 1 in the chat if we're going lower. Put a 1 in the chat if you think we're doom and gloom. This is only the beginning, that the dam has broken. Put a 2 in the chat if you think we hit bottom or we're fine, and everyone's just kind of freaking out. So 1 if you're scared, 2 if everything's fine. I want to know.
Put a 3. Put a 3 if you want us to open a club. Let's get more people in here, guys. Share the stream on Twitter or just retweet what we tweeted. Help us out. All right. I want to take a look at... This is Gemini.com/earn. This is directly from them. We just want to take a look at what kind of percentages they were offering people, right? And so you can see here, they talk about how the earn works, and you can see clear as day, Genesis, who are vetted through a risk management frameworks. Additionally, on a periodic basis, we conduct analyses of our partners' cash flow. So take that as you may. So here are their interest rates. They do offer interest on a lot of different cryptos. Nothing on here that really I'm just like, yo, how the hell are you offering Dogecoin 1%, Bitcoin 2.5%, where ETH is 2.28%. So nothing out of the ordinary, I would say, as far as, hey, they're offering 5, 6, 7% on Bitcoin, and they're not rehypothecating. Where the hell is this money coming from? So there you have that. But there might be some good news, as CZ is looking at acquiring Genesis loan book. The founder of Binance is reported to be interested in acquiring Genesis's loan book. Rob did mention Genesis includes $2.8 billion in active loans in its Q3 2022 report. Another source noted that any approach is likely to be rebuffed by Genesis parent company Digital Currency Group, and that a figure north of $2 billion would need to be floated. So, from what it sounds like, Digital Currency Group is not going to let this thing go for less than $2 billion. And do you see CZ dumping $2 billion into Genesis, Robin? I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't think so, bro.
That's a lot of money.
But here's the thing. At the same time, right now, the company's not bankrupt. And so it's different when you buy a company that's going insolvent, that doesn't have money. Because then you're picking up all of their debt, all their liabilities, all their issues. You're basically you inherit all of that. Now, buying their order books basically is what happens in finance and day-to-day operations. So if you ever notice that you buy a mortgage or a car, some other company buys it on the back end. So basically they would acquire all the debt and the loans. And so if Genesis loaned out, let's just say another exchange, Kraken, $100 million, they would own the loan, and now Kraken would owe them $100 million. So a little different than buying the company, basically buying their loan debt. So I wouldn't think of it as a negative. Although I do think that Binance, I don't see them dropping $2 billion. I don't see them spending that, and so I think that throwing money around at this moment, probably, especially from Binance, I don't really see it happening. I'm glad you brought up Binance. I do want to bring up a little tweet thread here or some info. So you have here Charles Hoskinson. Let me make this a little larger. So Charles Hoskinson, he's reacting to this article by The Block. So The Block has said Binance's role in FTX collapse is under congressional scrutiny. So there's a congressional hearing coming up, I think December, and they're going to investigate what happened with this collapse and what was the role of CZ and Binance in facilitating this. And obviously, they had a leveraged debt, but was there a moral obligation for CZ to take the path that he did? Was that the right or wrong answer if he knew what was coming? If he knew that selling his $500 million worth of FTT tokens and dumping it on the market and at least and making it public through Twitter, if that was the right direction. Now, I'm in the camp, hey, you need to flush this dude out of the system anyways. So, hey, thank you, CZ. But anyways.
So you don't put any blame on CZ?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Yeah, obviously, here's the thing. If he hadn't blown the whistle, there would have been more borrowing and lending and more practice and more FTT token printing. Here's the thing. So the contagion would have been even worse if it would have happened 3 months from now.
Here's the thing. Everyone wants transparency. We want to know. And then this dude is transparent and says, hey, we're going to sell all of our stuff. And then when a whale alert comes out and says, yeah, that's us.
You also there's being transparent, and then there's, hey, I'm gonna dump $500 million worth of your token and crash the price of it. There's that as well. You could do that over the counter. If you wanted to exit your position, you could have been like, hey, you know what? You could have called up Sam Bankman-Fried and been like, you know what, man, your books aren't adding up. We don't like the exposure. Buy your token back, or or if you don't, we'll go and sell it back. We'll sell it OTC, or we'll sell it through the order books. And we won't do it all at once to crash the market, but that's what we're gonna do. What obviously in hindsight is not the best practice is to just drop a tweet and be like, yo, I'm about to crash FTT token. The value is gonna be worth nothing because I'm gonna just dump this whole market. Like, I don't think that's the right way. Even if the outcome, even if FTX would have been fine, I just don't think that's the right move. I don't think that's the way you do business. And it could have been FTT token. It could have been any token. Would you like it if Coinbase said, hey, we're about to dump every single token that we have in Gala? I mean, it's kind of messed up for the community, right? And so I don't think that practice was the right way of going about it. Now, was it warranted? That's different. But I don't know. I mean, that's up for discussion. So back to what Charles said. And so he says, so for the first time, the New York Times gives it gives a full pass on SBF. And now it's Binance's fault, or CZ's fault. He said, this is a effing joke. The punchline is that we will have $50 billion bill, and SBF gets to keep having low rent eyes wide shut parties. So Charles is not a fan, and so New York Times did come out with what has been deemed a fluff piece. So basically, they were just discussing how this man fell from grace and lost all his money, and kind of left out the fraud and manipulation and all of that. And you kind of see what mainstream media has to say. Not to mention, New York Times is a big supporter of the Democratic Party. Not trying to make us political, but which funding, second biggest donor in the presidential election was Sam Bankman-Fried, and in this previous midterm election, Sam Bankman-Fried had $120 million worth of donations towards the party, also on both sides as well, not just Democrat, but. So anyways,
do you think they're gonna find? Do you think they're gonna try to put any blame of this on CZ?
That's literally what the block is reporting. Binance's role in FTX. They're scrutinizing it. They want to know. They want answers. What is his role? What did he play? So obviously, Congress. Congress doesn't like anybody right now. I think anybody that's in crypto, is like now getting scrutinized, right? Especially if you had some fundamental part in the collapse of FTX, whether or not you were an outside party with no involvement to the fraud that was going on, or if you stood to gain from it, or if you had leverage or risk with with an outside party that is associated with FTX, they're going to want answers, and they're going to have accountability. Now, whether you can sit here and talk about it, like should Congress get in and hold people accountable? I mean, that's a different topic, but
we'll get into more Congress here in a second. But back to Genesis. So if you remember, they had suffered losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars during the crypto collapse in May, and it reported direct exposure of 175 million to FTX last week. Now we did do and I want to share this with you guys. We did do a video on this whole Gemini and Genesis thing, and it's this one right here. Will crypto survive? You guys should definitely go check that out after the live stream if you haven't done so already. We kind of cover everything. That was filmed about 4 or 5 days ago. But this is Genesis. This is their actual quarterly reports for Q3. They had $8.4 billion in loan originations, $2.8 billion in active loans, $18.7 billion in derivatives value, and then $9.6 billion in spot volume traded. So not a small company by any means. And this is what we've been talking about yesterday and all week, is this spider web of how deep this FTX thing goes. And it just doesn't stop at the companies that are directly tied to FTX. Because now you got to look at, well, what companies are tied to Genesis? Gemini is one of them. Gemini wasn't tied to FTX, but guess what? They're suffering from the cascading effects and the snowball of this whole FTX thing. And so that is why we continue to say, until the dust completely settles, we have no idea who is next. We can take educated guesses. We can do research. We can dig deep. We can find information. But at the end of the day, we're not insiders. And if you are, let us know. But we're not. So it's just what's out there and what we can find. And so until the coast is clear, guys, stay vigilant. And don't buy into this whole when someone brings you information, oh, it's FUD, it's FUD, it's FUD. Like, I'm sick of hearing that. How is it FUD when it's actually happening? Right?
Yeah. I do want to say that I love the participation with the chat. I had a lot of ones. There was a few twos in the chat. Crypto Muscle, Why You Loud, and Diamond Hands all think that the crypto market is fine. Very possible. You know what I mean? We could have bought them. This could have been it. And now it's just the reverberations or the reverbs of the market. And it could be just, some last minute washing out of some lend protocols, and that's it. That's the bottom. Could be. Also, I don't think it is. What's your sentiment? You think there's more collapse?
Yes, there has to be. I'm sorry, there has to be. There's no way.
I don't know if there has to be, but there has to be, but not on the scale of FTX. I could be no more big exchanges, no more venture capital funds, and you could. Now, I think the likelihood of that is less. I think that the probability stands that we're going to see some other giant companies go down, and if this spreads over to traditional finance, with the perhaps something happens with Silvergate. Maybe some mismanagement, the company goes under, who knows? Or maybe they have to go raise capital to stay afloat, or they get bought out by somebody. This is all on the table. I don't want to say likely, but it's on the table. So it's in the realm of possibilities. And you also have a lot of venture capital that has money tied into crypto that has more exposure in traditional finance. So if some of these venture capital, some of these hedge funds, I mean, we saw that pension funds from Canada we're in FTX, and now those are gone.
So pension plans.
Yeah, and so
teachers pension fund.
Yeah,
I believe it was Ontario.
There was a lot. There was like $200 million worth of people's retirement funds gone. Man,
imagine, guys. Imagine being 60 years old. You're getting ready to retire in 3 years. You put into your pension, and then bam, gone. It's just sad, man. Also, shout out to Jimmy for being a whale member for 4 months. Thank you for your support, my friend. He said Hussein Faraj will bury SBF single-handedly, maybe even Gensler. So he's talking about Ben from BitBoy did bring on Hussein Faraj. We didn't get a chance to watch it because obviously we're prepping for our show, but we're definitely going to watch that after the show today. And we'll kind of give our thoughts about that tomorrow as well. Corey said, how long have you guys been a channel? So we officially launched our channel. We did our grand launch January this year. So little
then we do got some new people up in the chat as well. So we got Maurice Debster, Adam C.L. Wright, Wasim, Joshua Scott, CG, The Force, the Classic IT Guy, Giga Chad, Brian, and as we mentioned, Corey. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
And also want to give a shout out to Gina Bobina. They come from the live.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Gina Bobina.
Gina, Bobina, Fina, Mina, Olina. Okay. Let's move on.
Welcome.
Let's move on from Gemini and Genesis. Let's move on to the story that never stops is FTX. So there is a class action lawsuit filed against Tom Brady, Larry David, and others who endorsed FTX. Celebrities who promoted the troubled crypto exchange FTX are facing a class action lawsuit. Part of those, some of those include Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, which is now single, by the way, Steph Curry, and Larry David are among the stars named in the lawsuit. The lawsuit claims that they actively participated in the offer and sale of unregistered securities in the form of yield-bearing accounts. We've seen this multiple times, right? Should they be held accountable?
Nope.
You say no?
No.
Why not? Not that I disagree with you, but why not?
I mean, if they promote a Lexus car and that gets recalled,
Yeah.
and let's just say that before
Lexus
it got
an unregistered security in there.
but let's just say before it got recalled, the airbag deployed and somebody lost their life. Does that family sue the celebrity that promoted it? I'm sorry, man. And you know what? We're in the influencer space. And so in our world, people make money, even outside of crypto. People make money by advertising. And whether or not those products end up making you money, or it's what the company promises, it's up to the user to decide if that's a product they want to get into. If somebody wants to promote FTX and you decide to use it, you know what? Ultimately, the decision to using that platform falls on the user. You know, it is what it is. You know, don't get mad at Cristiano Ronaldo for the Nike deal if the cleats fall apart faster than you wanted them to.
I think the whole issue for me is that they're saying they were shilling unregistered securities. Well, nothing's been deemed a security or not a security. That's the issue there.
But they weren't addressing individual products. So if you look at Steph Curry's commercial, you look at Tom Brady's commercial, they're not sitting here telling you to FOMO into crypto. And so the liability comes from the platform that facilitated. FTX.us was a registered exchange. And so they had to follow certain parameters and guidelines. And so it's not like it would have been different if Tom Brady was promoting an exchange that was in Korea or in the Philippines or in China. And they're saying, hey, get a VPN, use this exchange. That's different. They're promoting a product that the U.S. government has basically said it passes the requirements to be an exchange. And so if the U.S. government says, oh, hey, you're green light to use those, you know, are you going to blame, okay, if you're going to blame Tom Brady, why don't you blame Apple? Hey, you let me download this software. Right? I mean, where does the accountability stop? And so if it's available to the U.S., then let them advertise it. Because where does the accountability do? Do you blame Silvergate for letting them transfer your money over? Do you blame iOS for letting you download the app? Do you blame Cox Cable for airing the commercial? Like at some point, it all goes back to the same person, and it's the user. You took on that risk. That's it. If I go buy a $1,000 gift card at Best Buy and I hold it for 20 years and Best Buy goes under, I lose my $1,000 gift card. That's it.
I want my TV. I want my TV anyway.
And so if you buy a product or you put money into an ecosystem or a product or a company, and just know that they can go under. It doesn't matter if it's crypto. It doesn't matter if it's anything. That's it.
I don't like this blaming game, but I know Gary Gensler is supposed to be the one in charge. Instead to go after the Kardashian, I guess he had a bigger fish. I don't know. Just saying.
Oh yeah, no, that's an interesting point. Gary Gensler is out here having meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried, multiple, and not investigating, not opening any investigation, not doing anything, not asking for transparency, having little luncheons with Sam Bankman-Fried, and then Kim Kardashian has an obvious ad for a ETH Max token, and she gets sued for, what was it, like
20 million.
20 million?
Something like that. Yeah.
Settled for 20 million in a lawsuit?
Yes, something like that.
It's like your focus is so distorted, man. Because right under your nose, the guy you're meeting with is running the biggest scam ever. The biggest scam ever. And you're going after Kim Kardashian, who literally probably doesn't even know anything about crypto outside of Bitcoin. She probably knows the name. She has no idea how it works. She's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I make money off of perfume, bags, this advertisement. Oh, you want to give me some money for, what is that? ETH what? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, put that on the books too. Like she literally she didn't know what the hell she was doing. And yet you have a criminal mastermind, fraudster over here having lunch with you, just destroying the entire empire, liquidation of billions of dollars, and perhaps a contagion that spills over into traditional markets. And you're over here, nothing to see here, guys. Oh yeah, hey, I saw you donated some money to my my boss there. Thanks for that. Thumbs up, baby. Thanks. Like, stop, man.
Yeah, just saying. Gary Gensler under $3
Yeah,
million
and that's
net
why
worth.
I'm still, I talked about it yesterday. I'm in the camp like, let's get some regulation on exchanges and centralized lenders, and then leave crypto alone. Focus on that. Focus on the exchanges, because you know what didn't break? You know what didn't go under? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, the Binance Smart Chain, XRP. All of those protocols are fine. Perhaps there's some price volatility, sure, yeah, but the nobody lost money, nobody got hacked, nobody got their funds stolen, nothing. Crypto worked as it's designed. What didn't work was the companies that are trying to be intermediaries that work between crypto. And cool, yeah, those products are here to stay. They're going to always be here. People don't want to mess around, nerd. People don't want to nerd out and learn how to open up a wallet. And the people are lazy. They want exposure to crypto. They're going to do it on whatever the easiest platform is. And if it's a shiny little commercial with Tom Brady on there, sure, they're going to go that route.
So you talked about Sam Bankman-Fried and the scammer. So just look at his mannerisms, right? And of course, everything is in hindsight. But does this sound like someone? And I have a theory on this. And but just does this look like? I mean, look how much he's shaking.
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
He looks like he's strung out, bro. Like, and it kind of goes back like, what is it? The amphetamines, right?
Yeah, they're huge proponents of amphetamine.
Yeah, and so that ain't normal. You don't sit in a chair and shake like that. Okay, I mean, I guess I don't know. You're on an NBC,
bro. The guy's a billionaire.
but still, bro.
You know what I think it is?
He was in front of Congress, so it's like, I mean, that's a pretty big stage.
You know what I think? I think he was just the puppet for a grander thing. That's just my
I don't know, man.
speculation.
I heard that the buck stops with him. He makes all the decisions, and that he would basically.
I bet you his parents had more say than
Well,
he did.
there was a lot of interviews with insiders, and so with the FTX compound over there in Jamaica, the consensus is that if you disagreed with Sam Bankman-Fried, even the people in his closest inner circle, you got booted out. And you left the company. You were done. You were fired. And so I don't discount that there were some other people whispering in his ear, sure, but I don't want to take the spotlight off of that fool. I don't want anybody to sit here and say he's like that dude. He literally did this his damn self. Okay, like this is his mess. It is his mess, man. And you know what? He had partners, he had family, he had cousins and uncles, and he had girlfriends, and he had buddies everywhere that helped him. But this dude knew what the hell he was doing. He was full of fraud from top to bottom. And so to sit like I don't subscribe to this. Oh, he was just going along for it. People were using him. No, he knew what the hell he was doing, bro. And maybe his dad or mom had some side agenda that he ponied up with, but dude was taking people's money and using it elsewhere. And then when he needed more money, he printed his own token, and then he sent it illegally from his personal exchange or from his exchange to his VC fund, Alameda Research. All illegally, all under the table, all quiet. And if anybody disagreed, questioned it, they were let go. And so, no, you don't get a pass, bro. Sam Bankman-Fried don't get a pass. He don't get a pass. I don't give a fuck if his mom or his dad or somebody's influence or Democrats. He knew what he was doing, and the money he was injecting into other avenues, and the money he was putting into Democrats, that was to push his own agenda. That was to make regulation in his favor, so that way he could make more money doing what the hell he was doing. He was trying to grow more crap empire, man. And that's where his partnerships were. So I don't subscribe to this idea that he was just some stupid idiot that got taken advantage of. He knew what the hell he was doing.
I'm not saying he was taken advantage of, but I bet you decisions, a majority of these big decisions that were being made was from his.
Nah, the decisions made was from him, bro. I don't care, bro. The decisions he made those decisions, bro. I'm telling you, there's been, I listened to those Twitter spaces, they had 3 and 4 different inside employees, people with firsthand knowledge. He drove this ship. He's the one that put all this market. He's the reason that Gemini is about to go under. He's the reason that Genesis is failing. He's the reason that Alameda went under. He's a big reason that there was so much leverage in Luna. It was him, bro. It was him. Now, if he worked with other people, that was him working with other people, bro. But I'm telling you, that dude, it was his fault. It is literally on him, bro. It was on him, bro. I don't care. Nobody else drove that ship, bro. Nobody else drove that ship. He did.
Thomas said, Thomas Semenich, which I love Semiches. He said he's trying to scam Twitter and erase evidence, but people took screenshots. Yeah, I watched I watched a video on that yesterday. I forget whose channel I was on, but apparently the way the bots on Twitter figure if you delete a message is if your overall tweets go down. And so the reason why people are saying, well, how come he did one letter and then 5 hours later did another letter, but then 2 minutes later did another letter? Well, he's sifting through his order book of tweets, and he's like, all right, I got to delete this one. Bam, delete, immediately tweet a letter. And so that's what apparently what he was doing. All right, so let's talk about some of the fallout as far as law and Congress here in the U.S. So this is breaking news. This is from the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services. This is their legit Twitter handle. So Chairwoman Representative Maxine Waters and Ranking Member Patrick McHenry announced December hearing to investigate the FTX collapse. So we're going to get some answers, hopefully. And I want to share this video. This is from Representative Pat Toomey talking about this whole FTX saga and drama. So let's go ahead and let's take a listen.
So let's look at FTX. It certainly appears to be an egregious failure to treat customer assets as segregated assets. It appears that the leadership there attempted to fill a hole at an affiliated company. And it occurs to me that this is a worry that I don't have for one split second about my stocks or my bonds or my treasuries when they're held in custody by American banks. Mr. Su, a predecessor of yours, said that there's no need for any additional guidance. It's a settled matter as to how banks should custody financial assets. And they do it all the time, and they've done it forever. But my understanding is that your office discourages banks from providing custody services, among other services, in the crypto space. And it seems to me if people had access to custody services provided by a wide range of institutions, including regulated financial institutions, they might be able to sleep more comfortably knowing that those assets were unlikely to be used for some completely inappropriate purpose.
I told you guys. I told you. I've been beating this drum all week. Last week, this week. This is going to be, the banks are moving in. The banks are going to move in and they're going to start custodying crypto. And if you believe and you want retail adoption to grow massively, you would see this as a positive thing. I'm not saying that you should custody your crypto. I'm definitely not going to custody my crypto with my bank. I'm not saying overall that it's a good thing, but this is the situation we've allowed people like Sam Bankman-Fried to put us in. And I'm telling you guys, the trust is completely eroded. No matter if Brian Armstrong keeps coming every day and says, we have full liquidity, we're back 1-to-1, no one's going to believe him, and I don't blame them. Do you blame them?
They are publicly traded, so they're supposed to be, they're going to be transparent. Now, you know, you even have a history of fraud and failures and lies, and you know, if you have an auditor come in and you show them some books, you know, even publicly traded companies, you can tweak the information for your own gain. So you can't ever get rid of fraud. But you know what? If you're a publicly traded company like Coinbase, I feel a lot more comfortable with that transparency than to have none on the back end. Because right now, all we had is none, man. We had no transparency, bro. And it's been obvious and apparent lately. And then just a little love to the chat here real quick. We got Danny V, Joe C, Thomas S, DJ Kusama, Nami, Thomas, or we already said Thomas, Pella Gick, and Junior Giles. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
All right.
So
Let's keep this thing moving.
What kind of APR the bank will give you?
Nothing.
I mean, here's the thing, like, but you know what essentially, what would be the difference between a Coinbase and a Bank of America, right? I mean, one is made their money from traditional finance, but I mean, if Bank of America offered the exact same services that Coinbase did, basically you had a vault where you could custody and keep your crypto. You have an exchange where you could buy and sell all on the same platform, and you can move your assets in between storage and trading effortlessly. They're no different than Coinbase and Binance. We just grew up with those names, so now at this point we're like, okay, yeah, that's the good. So now it's like Binance is hailed as this savior, and yeah, it's probably the least evil of the other ones. Like, I get it. The person at the top really seems to have crypto's best interest at heart, or at least it seems to be that way. It also seemed to be that way for Sam Bankman-Fried, and it also seemed to be that way for Alex Mashinsky, and it also seemed to be that way for other people. And so you only see what people want you to see. Just keep that in mind, all right? You know, because I can be one person here in front of the camera, be somebody else off camera. I can be one person in front of Twitter and be somebody else, you know, at home with the fam. And so, you know, take it for what it is, man. If you have people running companies and institutions, you're putting your trust in what they display. And we've seen time and time again, that just burns you. That's why I'm a big fan of DeFi. You know what? Bitcoin and Ethereum, nothing happened to them. And if you want to facilitate a trade or buy some crypto, you're not taking very much risk buying on Uniswap. Really not. Not at all. A little slippage, but the volatility, but
A little bit.
But even bank use your money to do that thing.
Yeah, but they got their bank. They're backed by the central bank, so it's a little different.
I mean, at this point,
$250,000
yeah, if
insurance
Bank of
on there.
America offered crypto
$250,000.
trading services, if Bank of America offered crypto trading services, then at least they got the federal government to keep them from going bankrupt. At least there's that if you're going to compare just one versus the other. But it's like, I don't know why all of a sudden a centralized exchange is held as the knight in shining armor, and the idea of banks coming in is so against the crypto ethos. It's like, hey, man, one centralized product offered here from this company, one centralized product offered from this one. And at least there's some kind of transparency with that, with traditional.
All right. Let's move on. So, again, this contagion has not stopped. Temasek, Sequoia, and SoftBank take more than $600 million in FTX write-downs. FTX investors, including Temasek, Sequoia, and SoftBank, are writing off hundreds of millions of dollars they poured into the now-failed exchange. Temasek is writing off $300 million, Sequoia $214 million, and SoftBank losses of $100 million. This is CryptoRank.io, and these are all the funding rounds for the FTX token. And $400 million funding round, $420 million raised, $900 million raised. And I want you to take a look at all these people, these companies that invested in FTT's funding round. Coinbase Ventures, Sequoia, SoftBank, Paradigm. Where was Sibo? Sibo's in here. We're going to talk about them. Temasek, Van Eck. I mean, and here again, same thing. Sequoia, they were the lead. Sequoia was the lead in 2 of the 3 funding rounds for FTT token. So Sequoia might be in real trouble. Temasek was the lead once. So scary. Speaking of Paradigm, The co-founder feels deep regret investing in SBF and FTX. He feels deep regret investing in those plus Alameda and Sam Bankman-Fried as a person. If you're not familiar with Paradigm, they are a crypto and Web3 focused VC firm based in San Francisco. In April, reports suggested the firm's assets under management totaled approximately $13.2 billion. The firm's website currently lists FTX and FTX US in its portfolio, and they suggest its investment in the exchange is around $278 million. Which one is this one? Sino Capital, they also regret investing a large sum, but they had funds ranging in the mid-seven figures that were confined in FTX custody. And so these all have one thing in common. They invested heavily in the FTT token. And you have another one. This is, I believe, Bitvo, or this is an exchange. So Bitvo was supposed to be bought up by FTX. Obviously, that deal is done. So what does this mean for the Bitvo exchange? Apparently, they're rethinking and evaluating other ways that the platform can move forward. And they have yet to decide whether they're going to merge or have another platform buy them. So again, guys, this thing is far from over. We still have to see where the genesis or where those dominoes fall. And then from those dominoes, where the other dominoes fall. So what are your thoughts on that, Rob?
Sequoia's big, man.
Here, let's pull up Sequoia's.
And they have a lot of money. And they're holding a lot of tokens. Remember, if there's ever any insolvency issues, things get liquidated. Even if you don't get insolvency issues. And you're starting to hemorrhage and you're starting to get to this point of insolvency, you start liquidating things. And what do you liquidate? Assets that you're holding. And in venture capital terms, things that you bought in that you have the least amount of belief in, go first. Even if they're at a loss.
And Sequoia is a tier one venture capital firm. Yeah, this is what their token balance sheet looks like.
Even if they didn't go under, they would have to sell these assets if they were getting to a situation where they're, overexposed.
Yeah, these are all the tokens they have.
Look at that FTT token, number 5 on their list.
BNB, Filecoin, Huobi.
How much did they invest in? Did they say how much they invested in FTT?
No, these are funding rounds. So
okay.
How much they raised in total. But they got money in Magic Eden, a bunch. I mean, this is how interconnected this whole thing is, guys. And that's why we're saying it's better safe than sorry. But they did, again, 2 different investment rounds for FTT, which just off the top of right here, just glancing over, they didn't do that for anything else.
And how much did they raise on FTT?
FTT, the Series B was 900 million, and the Series or 2 Series B 900 million, 420 million. And they still had to take customer money to pay back loans.
So they had $1.3 billion.
Oh, that's nothing. I just showed it. That's not. It was three rounds, and right here. Series C, 400 million. Series B, 420 million. Series B, 900 million. They also had a seed round, which was another $8 million. So do the math. Just to show you guys how interconnected everything really is. All right, Rob, why don't we take a look at what the markets are doing?
All right, yeah.
There was some news with England.
I got a couple things. So first, let's just take a glance at what the markets look like. We got Bitcoin sitting at 16.5, kind of where it's been since this whole debacle. I think 16K is a good support zone. Ethereum at 1,200. This is down from the 1,250. Now, Ethereum's down 4% for the day. I'm a little weary, man. I don't know about this $1,000 level, man. I think that might drop down to that. Might test it out, especially if Bitcoin hits 15K. Definitely think Ethereum is going to be at $1,000. Extreme support there, though. XRP down 5% as well. And then some of the biggest gainers for the day. You have the Trust Wallet up still 5%, over 100% for the week. A lot of people just moving funds off of exchanges, moving it into either web browser-based wallets like Trust Wallet. And, you can also use Trust Wallet on your phone as well. Or that's actually where most people use it. And then Stacks down 10%. They did a pump yesterday. Chronos down 7% still. And taking a look at the stock market. And so you see everything is down, but not by much. NASDAQ down 1.3%. And as you can see here, front center on mainstream media, it's all about crypto. Binance here, Genesis there, FTX here. And so you see this is the front page story. And that's why I think regulation is coming at a breakneck speed because everybody's talking about it. And just to take a look at the crypto fear greed index at 23. But UK inflation came in market Monday. Increase your earning power on December 13th. All right. So UK inflation hits a 41-year high at 11.1%, man. Holy crap, man. And that's up from the year before, too. And so if you go all the way back to 2020, when this whole debacle started, I mean, you are losing purchasing power quick. And you think this is not confined strictly to the UK, man. This is globally. This is a snapshot of what's happening around the globe. And this whole fiat system, this whole print it when you need it and figure it out later, is the reason we're in the situation we're in now. And so, I don't know, that's all I got there, brother.
Let's take a look at some charts. Well, first take a look at this. All right. So this is Bitcoin balance on exchanges. Okay. And let me actually make this a little bigger for you guys. Bloop, 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 bloop. It's a little too big. All right.
Bloop,
so
bloop,
here you
bloop,
have
bloop, bloop. That's nice.
Coinbase. Over the last 24 hours, 4,100 Bitcoin has been taken off their exchange. Binance, on the other hand, 32,449 Bitcoin has been put on their exchange. What does that mean? Could this be the miners? Are people planning on selling it?
Maybe
else?
Maybe they brought cold storage into the exchange to facilitate withdrawals. But I don't know.
But look who's number one in outflows, Gemini. Almost 10,000 Bitcoin has left Gemini over the last 24 hours. Number one. And their balance has dropped down 178,000. That's still a lot of Bitcoin over the last 7 days, down 26,000 Bitcoin as a whole, all exchanges combined. 167,000 Bitcoin has left the exchanges over the last 7 days, 130,000 over the last 30 days. Let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. This is the 1 hour on Bitcoin. We've been in this symmetrical triangle for quite some time. We are getting ready to break out. Well, where are we going to break out? What are some levels to watch? So I decided to use Crypto Stackers Pro, which is my favorite platform to find levels to buy and sell and look out for. So what I have on here is the sunset levels. This measures risk to reward. You take a high, you take a low, and it tells you at what level is your risk to reward, good or bad. So we took September 19th low of around 10,000, and we took the last high we had here right around 21,000. This was on November 4th. And we kind of get some decent levels here, guys. So we saw the 1-to-1 level. If you're long or short, your risk reward is 1-to-1. Beautiful support 3 times. 1, 2, and well, not 3 times, twice. Once and twice we wicked down here. This candle was from November 13th, so 3 days ago. But you can see here some levels. The 2-to-1 long level, 13.7. And the 3-to-1 long level is $12,700. Not saying that's where it's going to go, but those are some decent levels to watch. And ETH, same thing, ascending triangle. This did break to the downside, but has worked its way back into the pattern. And it looks like, well, I take that back. It looked like it was getting ready to work its way back into the pattern, but looks like it got rejected. So seems like this chart, ETH, is going to break to the downside. Well, how do we know how far it's going to go? Kind of take the middle of the symmetrical triangle, measure the depth. So you're looking at a possible 10% decrease in the price of Ethereum. And if we measure it from where we broke from the top here, or we measure 10% down, we are potentially looking at a sub $1,100 Ethereum. So 1080 is the price level I'd be looking at. So yeah, guys, that's all we have for today. Make sure
about Solana. You have any? Is Solana still alive? Or what's going on?
Solana. Yeah, Solana's still alive.
Still alive. Okay, good. Good to know.
Well, their DeFi ecosystem's not alive, but
And then we had a couple new people in the chat. We had Jesse M, Steven Jupp, and X Arata Kasuga. Hola! Welcome.
Solana $14.
Surviving.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right.
Surviving. All right, guys. Make sure to check out all of our social medias. Follow us on Twitter at Sin City Crypto 1. Go check out our merch store. And come join us every Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Vegas time. Rocco, wait, you gotta wait, bro. I didn't do my finger tornado.
We gotta go. I got my pastry waiting for me.
All right, guys.
Double tornado.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Double finger tornado.
Double.
See you tomorrow. Ruined my whole flow.
Wow, because of your tornado one. Look at this guy. He's upset now. Come on. Okay, do the tornado. Late.
Nate La Pena. Hola!